Hey, not ready yet. Shoo.
Oi! Hello, wake up. Start already.
Sorry. Good morning, madam. My name is Ddwd, and I'm thrilled to introduce our group project today, the Student Score Calculator. Before we begin, allow me to introduce our collaborative, creative, and capable team. Starting with me, I serve as the most reliable facilitator in this group. Next, we have Lim Pei En, our adept reporter. Then there's Yu Zonghang, who, um, um, well, and last but not least, we have Chai Chen Zhu, our slide designer. As you can see, here is our content table. It consists of 6 components, including an introduction, objectives, and so on. Alright, now let's dive into our primary subject together. Now, I would like to talk about the introduction of our project. The Student Score Calculator is a cutting-edge application designed to simplify the complex task of tracking and analyzing student academic performance. Purpose-built for educators and institutions, this intuitive tool provides a comprehensive platform for managing student scores, facilitating insightful analysis, and fostering data-driven decision-making. In this project, our team has gleaned numerous valuable lessons. Firstly, we mastered the development of a functional C++ program to calculate student test scores, grades, and achievement statuses. Secondly, we implemented a modularized code base incorporating arrays, functions, and file handling techniques. Lastly, we ensured a user-friendly interface and delivered comprehensive output. I have covered the initial findings, so now I would like to pass the presentation to Lin Pei.
Alright, thank you, William. So now it's my turn now. I will continue the presentation by explaining the requirement of the program and the coding. There are some requirements our group has been asked to fulfill in our coding. Our program must implement 3 arrays, which is 1-dimension array to store the student name, 2-dimension array to store the test score, and 1-dimension array to store grades. Moreover, our program also needs to include the 3 functions: a function to read and store data into arrays, a function to calculate the average test score, the number of passed students, the number of failed students, and determine grade, and finally a function to output all the results. Like I mentioned just now, our program will also calculate the student average, class average, define grade to each student, and lastly calculate the number of passed and failed students. At the end of our coding, it will display all the relevant information for the user, such as displaying the student information and class summary. Finally, let's explore our functional and comprehensive coding. To present all the coding in detail, our group has decided to divide the whole coding into multiple parts to facilitate our in-depth analysis and explanation of the coding. This part includes necessary header file and global constant, num student, num test, or variable required for the program. We define the num student as 10 and the num test as 5, since they are a test student and each of them has 5 test scores that need to be inserted as input. Now I will turn it over to Zonghang to finish the explanation of the coding.
Thank you, Per. Well, let's explore the coding step by step together. This part includes the declaration variables and calling 3 functions like get data, calculate, and display in the correct sequence. As you can see here, the declaration includes the three arrays which are test, grade, and average to fulfill the requirements. If you follow the flow of this program, the getData function will execute first. So, let's take a look at what is inside the getData function first. In this code, a for loop has been used to read data from the input file named infile and store it into the two arrays. One-dimensional array to store the students' names and two-dimensional arrays to store the test scores. The first loop will execute 10 times as the declaration of the num student is 10. And don't forget, kindly close the input file after usage. Next, let's delve into the calculate function. We apply two looping statements to sum out the 5 test scores from each of the 10 students and calculate the average of each student and the class average. After that, we use the if-else statement to define and assign the corresponding grade to each student based on their average test scores. For example, those who get 90 to 100 marks will be assigned an A grade. Lastly, this function will process the count of pass and fail students. If the students gets the grade that is beside A, B, C, and D, then an increment of the number of failed students will be executed. Now, let's move into the display function. Same principle from the getData function. The same loop statement has been implemented to display all the information stored within it, which is the test score and name of the students. Other than that, it will display the average score in two decimal numbers and the achievement level of each student based on their assigned grade. Let's say if the student gets an A grade, it will display the achievement level very good. It will also display information such as student average score, class average, and the number of students who fail or pass in an arranged format to be easily analyzed by the user. Last, to avoid any invalid input by the user and ensure the execution of the program, the extra program has called to detect invalid input and remind the user to insert valid input. If the user enters a number less than 0 or bigger than 100, it will display invalid score for the corresponding student, which will enable the user to easily know their mistake. I'll now hand over to Chai to discuss the rest of the coding and the output of this program.
Thank you, Zhonghang. Finally, it's my turn now. So let me analyze our output of this program for you.
If the user enters a valid score, test, and name, this will be the output of this program. It will display useful information and help the user to analyze the achievement status in the class. To make our output description more complete, our group will show now the error outputs when the invalid input is occurs. In the first case, as you can see here, when the user inserts a 100 or -11 test score which are out of range, the program will display an invalid value to inform the user to re-enter the score. In the second case, if the file name student data 123 wasn't opened by a user, it will display a file open errors as well. In conclusion, the Student Score Calculator program provides a useful tool for educators to analyze student performance and track class progress. With its modular design and efficient functionality, it serves as a solid foundation for further development and customization to meet specific educational needs.
Here are some references we refer to complete our coding, such as how to apply a C++ function, C++ files, and grade calculator, and a one-dimensional array. Our group has covered all the essential and core information of this project. We hope you can learn something from it. That's all from us. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.